How are we all doing? I hope you're all keeping well out there. So I had intended to do a sort of a resurrection get me going video on this Grundig super sound television, but I soon realised when I put it up on the bench that it wasn't going to happen. Looking at the front, the phosphor looked a little bit dodgy, and I soon found out why. I'm afraid all the king's men and all the king's horses aren't going to mend this. So it must have it come out of a skip ages ago, and it obviously went in back first. But it looked alright. Sadly, it's not alright. Interesting though the way it broke off, and you can see the gun. Yeah, so that's the. I don't think there's any point trying to super glue that back on. So we've just been scrapping a few parts out of it. I'll take a few bits and pieces, taking the BU-208 out of it, stuff like that. But it's an interesting television. It's a shame. It would have been nice to hear it going, because they've gone to great detail with the sound here. It has stereo output, and it has two drivers in either side of the cabinet, two tweeters facing out the front, and it has two connections on the back for a left and right external speaker as well. So it would have been interesting to hear how good it was, but sadly it wasn't to be. But let's bring the camera in and give you a quick look at it. So I've took the tripler out already, and the two BUs. We get the circuit diagram in it, which was nice. That was tucked inside. That was good of them. CUC 740. There's the two drivers in either side, and the tweeters are in the front, sticking out. You can just about see them in there, and another one on the far side. Now, of course, it's not a great loss because the cabinet is an awful little nick, and we're missing the door as usual, and a few bits and pieces. You can see here we've a balance control here, left and right, and I think that's a wide stereo, and a hi-fi button. So it would have been a nice television to get going, just to hear how good the sound was, but it's not going to happen with this one, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll go and find something else to look at. Okay, on to the next thing. I found something we can have a quick look at, and never know, might fix it. This is a reminder for anyone that's into CB radio or amateur radio or things like that. The power supplies can fail, and when they do, sometimes the regulator goes short and they put out far more voltage than they should. And this is the case with this machine here. This is EP-925 13.5 volt regulated power supply, but at the minute it's not a 13.5 volt supply. It's more than order of something like 24 volts, and if you had this connected up to your nice CB radio or your amateur radio with a kit that was expecting to see 13.5 volts, it would end in tears. You put out a nice bit of power for a couple of seconds, and that'd be the end of it. So I'll bring you in, give us a look at it, and we'll get the back off and see if we can find out what happened. And it is a nice decent power supply. I think it's probably good for about 20 amps. What's it doing? Nearly 24 volts at the minute. So if your transceiver was expecting 12 or 13 or whatever, it'd be a bad day out. And you see it is a nice decent unit. Fan on the back, a whole lot, and it's 25 amp continuous, 30 watts, 30 amps max. So it's certainly not underrated. Right, I'll pause it here, get the back off, Okay, so I have it opened up, and it appears that I am not by any means the first person to open this up, because some strange modifications have been taking place. So basically, I'm on a PA0FRI, that's an amateur radio call sign, and he has a website, and he has quite a bit of information up on this, and he has the circuit diagrams available. As we can see, basically we've got 5 2N3055s in parallel. Now, a couple of these must have failed in the past, but instead of replacing them, what they have done is they've simply snipped them out. I'll get the, now I think one of these has since gone short circuit. See, no wires on this one. And the one at the back here, no wires on him. And these are the emitter resistors, 0.1 ohm. And of course there's nothing connected to them. We have the 3 here. And some have been replaced, I think, because we've got one transistor here with a date code of 31/1974. And then there's another odd looking one in there, and it's week 14, 1973. The 3 or the 2? Yeah, week 16, 1973. So that's a bit odd. So they obviously got fed up changing transistors, so they just snipped them out instead. And then, so that would derate it quite a bit. Anyway, on with the show. Okay, so I've undone the 3 remaining emitter leads. So I think I've found our suspect. It's not that one, it's this one up here. He's short. This one's alright. So I'll just leave that off. I'll put the other 2 back on and see does it regulate. Okay, so it is regulating to an extent now. Got a 3 ohm resistor across it. That's getting hot. The ammeter isn't working. To be honest, I wouldn't trust it as far as I could throw it now with anything. I don't think it's worth putting the transistors into it. So I think I'll leave it. Anyway, it's a nice box. So I think that's what it'll be. Okay, thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one. Good luck for now.